Hello, everyone, and welcome once again. Actually, brand new to this channel. Once again, to everybody that's listening, welcome to the Movie Graveyard. This is Cory G on either the left or the right, depending on what you're watching. I'm joined, as always, by the GOAT.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's really awesome to be here on this awesome network. We're doing actually a video show for the first time in my career, so let's get it popping.
And I know the video show is great because, like they always say, Cory G, the man that makes the fat women swoon, the reflection of perfection. Now you can listen to my voice and look at me at the same freaking time. How awesome is that?
That's, that's going to make a lot of people in YouTube land really happy. And you know what, the thing that I was like really excited about doing this show in this format, Cory, is we're on YouTube. Right below here, there's all these comments and stuff, so all the fat women can write you messages right there, just tell you
That's
how
right.
good looking you are.
Just leave comments, hit the like button now. Don't even wait. We're on the channel with Vince Russo,
Right.
The man who booked that. Well, this is his channel. I don't need to introduce him.
No, they know who Vince Russo is.
They know who he is, and it's awesome that we're a part of it.
I'm excited because I was actually, believe it or not, and this is a 100% true story, Vince Russo is the man who got me back into wrestling. I've been out of it, I would say probably, I was out of wrestling all through high school. And then when I went to college, some buddies, it was a Monday Night Wars, we was flipping back and forth. It was the time when Russo went to WCW, and he did his Powers That Be gimmick, where he was an off-screen guy barking orders. That whole storyline got me back into wrestling, so I've made a few dips here and there through the years, but overall, I've been a wrestling fan, pretty much for like the last, well, I guess it's 2018, so almost 17 years straight now, thanks to Vince Russo.
I guess for people that don't know us, people that are new to us, if we want to introduce ourselves, I'll let you go first.
Hey everybody, I go by the name Goat. That's my true nickname that I've had literally since a baby. It's not a stage name or some made up shit. It's a real nickname. Anyway, yeah, I've been doing a lot of things last few years, doing YouTube stuff on a channel called Hillbilly DVD Reviews, which led to a podcast called Hillbilly DVD Reviews. And then when I got into the whole podcasting circuit, that's when I met Cory G. And then me and Cory G doing different projects, which led to the Movie Graveyard, which originally was 1980s Movie Graveyard, where we only covered 80s movies. Then recently we converted to just the Movie Graveyard, when I would cover all old movies, but from various decades or whatever. And then that morphed yet again, mutated into what you're seeing right now, the video show on YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm Cory G. Like Goat said, I had a couple podcasts of my own. We hooked up, worked on a 24-hour Steven Seagal marathon.
We did. For 24 hours, we sat and talked
4
about
hours
Steven
straight.
Seagal. Yeah.
Became good friends after that. You stuck with the podcasting part of the Movie Graveyard. I morphed it into a website.
Yeah, again, another morph.
Yeah, a lot of morphs. And I did a lot of stuff on Twitter promoting that. Hooked up with shooting Vince Russo a message, and there we go from here to just another extension. So Movie Graveyard's a podcast, a YouTube show, YouTube channels, website, Facebook, Twitter. It's everything.
Exactly. Like literally, we started the Movie Graveyard podcast in like 2015, which became like a blog site for a little bit, but then you morphed it into a real website, and now we're morphing into it. It's just I can't even keep track of the ways we morphed into Twitters in the thousands. How many like, what do you call it, Facebook likes do we have now? Isn't it like
60, almost 63,000 Facebook
Right.
likes, like over 10,000 on Twitter. I just hired Juan Ortiz from Design of the Dead, the guy that does indie wrestler Sammy Callahan. He does stuff for the Young Bucks. He's going to be making logos and backgrounds for the website. So, none of this nickel and dime bootleg crap.
No.
We're hiring the real athletes.
And now we're coming to you live I'm from Studio B. And where are you at, Cory?
I'm also Studio B. I'm in my basement. I'm by my movies.
There you go. So yeah, so we got to pop in. We thought it'd be like a good intro, to kind of not only talk about ourselves, but we'll be talking a little bit about our favorite movies from last year. But before we get into that, is there anything else you want to talk about, Cory?
No, not really. I'm pretty good. I just watched It the other day. I like that. I just got a review copy of Jigsaw in the mail. I haven't watched that yet. And Other than that, no, I've just been kind of chilling. I haven't been at work for a while, so with no school, so I got a kid, so I got to
Right.
take taking that Christmas break is also my break too. So
Nice.
we don't know what the other one's gonna say. That's what's funny. I didn't tell you my top five, and fans, new
No.
fans, I got weird friggin' taste in movies. Well, we might as well get into it. Our first show, top 2017. It's kind of a generic topic. We'll have more outstanding topics. I'm thinking like movies starring wrestlers that aren't named The Rock.
Right.
Best movies to watch because you're a lonely nerd. All kinds of things you want to see. So, but for now, generic best of 2017. Why don't you bring me in at your number five on your list? Well, we'll go from the bottom and work up.
Number five I have here is a movie called Free Fire. This came out earlier this year, so a lot of people forgot it, but it is on Blu-ray already.
Never heard of it. My top five was Wide Release. It's a good movie. It's a story about it's a troubled high school. There's like meth is running rampant. There's like violence in the schools. There's it's overloaded with sex. It's the last day of school. People have reached their breaking point, and it breaks down into just like a cornucopia of violence. I'm talking about Fist Fight, starring Ice Cube and Charlie Day. This movie I love it. This movie was so funny. It's got Jillian Bell in it, who I have a huge crush on. Jillian Bell, if you're listening, I'm married. I'll take the ring off for a night with you. You were so freaking hot. Ice Cube is crazy teacher. Charlie Day inadvertently gets him fired. So he says, we're going to have a fist fight because he wants to show, actions have consequences. We're going to break things down. It's hysterical. It's probably the funniest movie I've seen. I'm not used to this. It's the funniest movie I probably saw this year. I like it. And I liked it good enough. The chemistry between the two is good. It's good enough to make my top five, coming in at number five. And I like it because at the end, they really have a fight. They have like a 10-minute fight. It's not
Right.
they live quality, but it's a good fight.
Well, come on. When it comes to fight scenes, what is They Live quality? Nothing lives up to They Live.
Nothing that's going to top that. Cripple fight in South Park, baby.
All right, number four, we're coming in with another really violent, really brutal movie. I loved it a lot. I actually have the Blu-ray. This is the only movie. Well, no, two of these I have on Blu-ray. I just don't have them sitting right here. But number four, I'm happy to say, I thought it was going to be my number one movie earlier in the year, but some new stuff came out that beat it out. But number four, Belko Experiment. I love this movie. Movie about a bunch of people working in a giant office building, like whatever, 20 floors in a foreign country. They're working for a mysterious corporation that puts chips into the back of their necks. And then one day they just announce on a loudspeaker, like, you have to kill 20 people or else we're going to, like, blow you all up, blow your heads off. So just a great movie of people really, different types of personalities, people coming together, making alliances, making enemies, and then just like, turns out it's all real. Like if they don't do it, they really will get blown up. So the whole movie, people are killing each other. Kind of like the movie Battle Royale, but set in an office building and all taking place in the afternoon. The drama was great, the writing was great, the tension was great. Written by James Gunn, directed, I think, by the guy who did Wolf Creek. So there's a lot of good gore scenes. Highly recommend Belko Experiment.
I thought it was poop.
Why? Come on. A movie of people getting killed outside. I'm gonna be poop.
I got it behind me here somewhere. No, like I was all excited and I couldn't wait, and I didn't really like it. And then I saw Mayhem with the
Right.
dude from Walking Dead. I thought that was 10 times better. Mayhem was comedy, but I mean, so if you really look at Belko, it should have been played a little more for laughs.
You think so?
I was just disappointed in it. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I had heard about like, oh, it's so good, so good, and then I hear about that for months, and then I finally put it in. It's like, it's no Kill and Kill Again, fans. Now on Blu-ray.
Well, what is Kill and Kill Again? Explain to people real quick, because I don't think Kill and Kill Again is real well known. Explain to people the
Kill
evil
and
plot
Kill
of
Again.
Marduk.
The greatest movie ever made. A guy named Marduk has invented a mind-controlled drug made out of potatoes. He wears a fake beard and he has a whole town taken over that all knows karate and an arena of death. So karate champion Steve Chase, gets together a pro wrestler, a kickboxer, a mystical martial artist, and a hot girl to go into the town and save the world. Also, the first movie to use bullet time. That's Kill and Kill Again. My number four movie, it's not out on Blu-ray. I just got a presser for it today. I'm going to tell you, it was that comedy masterpiece, Thor Ragnarok, where they basically took the plot of Thor and added comedy to it and made a far superior movie that had me laughing my ass off for 2 hours straight. I loved it. That rock dude stole the movie.
He did. I liked his voice.
The whole movie was good. I mean, it was, to me, that's why Marvel is so light years above. And I like Justice League, but that's why Marvel is so much better. They know how to make a movie fun.
Number three, it's the movie that is the buzz of the whatever entertainment world right now. I'm talking about the disaster.
Jumanji.
No, no, Jumanji.
I like
Jumanji. It's
Jumanji.
not on my list. I hate to break it to you. I'm talking about The Disaster Artist. Started as a book. I just got the book today. Can't wait to read it to hear more about the behind the scenes genius Tommy Wiseau. But The Disaster Artist is about a foreign guy named Tommy Wiseau. Nobody likes him. They think he's weird. They think he's creepy. But he wants to be great American actor, great American film director. So he starts out to make a movie called The Room, which some people say is the worst movie ever made. And I would say that those people probably have only seen 3 or 4 movies because there's way worse movies in The Room. But that's another topic. But I just love the story about two guys, friends, going to LA to try to become actors and eventually making their own movie, and just everything goes wrong. And because Tommy's such a wild and crazy guy, and people just don't understand him and stuff. So I would highly recommend Disaster Artist because it's a movie that it has good drama, but it's mostly a comedy. And I liked it. And the characters are real likable, too. So big thumbs
I,
up for Disaster Artist.
I'll get the Blu-ray. I like Franco. I tried
Yeah.
to, I think he's a good actor. I will say though that show that all the people are watching now, The Deuce,
Mm.
pretty freaking boring. But for the most part, I do like Franco. What you should watch is, and fans, if you're wondering why I'm not dropping f-bombs every other word, is we have
Yeah.
the language we can't use here, but that's okay because my number three is actually a family-friendly movie. It's another Marvel movie. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, only Marvel can take horrible comic books because I'm a comic collector, and Guardians of the Galaxy is a shit book. I don't know what it's like now, but when I was a kid, it's awful. Now it's an awesome movie. I mean, and this movie, around Vince Russo, wrestling, and Dave Bautista's in this. Dave Bautista's stealing the movie. He's a comic genius. This reunites the cast. It's once again another setup to the upcoming Avengers Infinity War. It's a great movie. I think there's not a person alive. You got David Hasselhoff cameo in it. You got Jeff Goldblum. If you don't blink, you got Howard the Duck again. I mean, you can't go wrong. The movie it's action packed. It's hilarious. It's even got Kurt Russell.
And it's even got a young Kurt Russell, which you can't beat that, can you?
No, you can't. You can't. And it's got that great line of when Kurt Russell he's going to kill Star-Lord. He's revealed that he gave Star-Lord's mom cancer and everything. Star-Lord, he hulks up, because Michael Rooker gives him the pep talk, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You're going to pay for killing my mom and breaking my Walkman." And then he turns into a Pac-Man. I mean,
Exactly.
It's awesome.
So number two, and just speaking of dramas, I thought this was a drama of the highest quality. I'd say this is probably one of the best dramas I've seen in the last 5 years for sure. Probably technically in terms of acting and all that, probably the best acted movie I've seen in 2017. I'm talking about the movie Wind River.
Jumanji?
No, Jumanji. Jumanji is nowhere on this list. I hate to break it to you. But I'm talking about Wind River. Great movie. Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, two of the Avengers. Basically, it takes place on or near a Indian reservation. The movie starts out, they find a dead girl in the snow. The FBI comes in, they send one young girl who doesn't know what they're doing. So Jeremy Renner, he's actually works for the wildlife division. He hunts wolves. That's what he does. Basically, it's a pretty cool murder mystery because you're looking through it not through the eyes of a cop and laws and shit. You're looking through a guy who literally is hunting a killer, and it just, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but great drama, and you're going to get an awesome, awesome shootout towards the end.
But is it as good an Indian movie as Billy Jack?
I actually say it's. I'd actually
Triple feature.
I actually, well, if you're talking triple feature, all that quality of all them different movies is going to add up, and it's hard to compete with that. But we're talking about one-on-one movies. I will put Wind River up there with Billy Jack.
I've heard of Wind River. That's just passed me by, but and I need to clarify, fans. I'm not a friggin' Fender head. I know Jumanji is 2018, which is probably why I won't mention it again until next year's list because it's freaking awesome.
Is it though? I thought Jumanji came out on Christmas, which would make it technically 2017.
God damn it. Anyway, Jumanji's awesome. It's not as awesome as these next two.
Oh, now I think we know what your number one's going to be.
Oh, I think everybody that knows me knows my number one. But my number two, which I'm surprised isn't on your list unless it's your number one, is Kong, Skull Island. I love a good monster movie. And with the exception of, if I'm going to call Pac Rim a monster movie, I will say that there hasn't been anything prior to that till probably Deep Rising. Kong is awesome because you see Kong about 2 minutes into the movie. The special effects are awesome. It's the story of Kong. It's set in the Vietnam War. Sam Jackson, who looks like he should have had a military funeral 30 years prior to Vietnam, is in it. To me, he's the only weak character. He's trying to hunt Kong. They go to this island, which is Skull Island. They're dropping depth charges to measure like the seismic activity for it. It wakes up Kong, it doesn't wake up Kong. It's waking up these things called skull crawlers, which Kong starts smashing up the military because he doesn't want to wake these things. They're like evil where Kong protects the island. And it's basically like a Vietnam War movie with a big monkey. Now, I might not like my Vietnam movies, but I like monkeys. So monkey movie, big monkey movie, action. As monkey movies go, right up there with Going Ape with Tony Danza.
I would agree. Going Ape with Tony Danza. And you got to admit to this, Going Ape really changed the genre of monkey movies.
It did.
Before that, they were really I don't know, children's films. Going Ape, it took it to another level. Yeah, it's enjoyable for kids because it has a monkey. But, it just has that human emotion. Yeah. And it just, nothing was ever the same.
I always remember as I was a kid, one of my first drive-in movies was the 1970-something, the Jeff Bridges, the Kong remake. And I remember, I remember being told, I'm calling bullshit on this, but I remember being my uncle telling me I was scared when Colin came through the island. That don't sound like Cory G. But, so I always have fond memories of that. I like Godzilla, except for that last American piece of poop. But no, Kong Skull Island it's what a giant monster movie needs to be. James C. Reilly added so much humor to it when he came in that second half. It was just, I just loved it. I felt it through the whole thing. It took me almost back to like a childhood type movie. It was just so good, just so much fun.
I loved it too. It was so nice to watch a big budget, monster movie where you didn't have to have half the movie be fake CNN clips of you ever notice that all the monster movies now, it's always the people watching on the news or calling on the phone. Cell phones ruin all dramatic tension in monster or horror movies. I love the older setting that really just kept it okay, these are these guys. Yeah, they got the radio, they're trying to get help, but they can't. It's just these guys, they have to survive. None of this easy out, running away with technology crap.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are two people that absolutely hated the American Godzilla movie, the last one with Ryan
It depressed me. It depressed me when I left the theater.
It depressed me that I wasted money on it. It was garbage. Even that new one from Toho, that Shin Godzilla, that ain't that good either. Godzilla needs to be a guy in a suit who smashes up a monster, which is a guy in another suit. That's all it needs to be.
I'm actually not looking forward to Godzilla versus Kong because I'm afraid they're just going to job him out to Godzilla now.
I think they'll end up teaming up, and then maybe they'll do some old school wrestling moves. They could get the 3D. You could do a twist of fate into a swanton. There's the heart attack. There's the double drop kick. There's so many ways you can go with this.
Do you think the Broken Hearties are teaching them moves or what?
Why he works with a kangaroo. He might as well be
That's
working
right.
with an ape.
Smoking Joe, the kangaroo.
That's
Why not
right.
ape?
Hell yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go with my number one. This was a very experimental film, I would say. They admitted that they had no script for it whatsoever. They just took cameras on the street and like filmed like the actors doing whatever. Nobody knew what was going on. This is actually a movie called Good Time. Came out probably summertime. It had a lot of hype, but it came and went out of theaters. It's about a guy who has a mentally handicapped brother, and he's trying to like find a way to keep his brother out of going to like basically a home or whatever. So they do a robbery, a bank robbery, really good scene, and then it all gets messed up. They get split up. His brother gets arrested. So then he's trying to like, but there's a lot of problems. Like they didn't get as much money and all this. So like basically he's trying to like find ways to get his brother out of jail. And like once he realizes like he can't really just bail him out because he don't have the money, like he goes into like a whole bunch of schemes and scams, and like he finds out his brother is like in a hospital because he got hurt during the getaway. So he actually tries to break him out of the hospital. Just the whole night is just literally just this guy running all around, and it's played by the greatest actor in the world, Robert Pattinson for Twilight. British guy, gets no credit whatsoever because he was in Twilight, but he's awesome in here. There's even a scene you get to watch in the movie. He bleaches his hair, his own hair. He bleaches it. So I
Does
don't
he
know.
just do like the half, like Moke and Matt Hardy?
It gets a little messed up like that, but he pretty much does the whole thing. But it looks awful. Like he pretty much has orange hair the rest of the movie. But I don't want to spoil the second half of the movie. But really good movie. I liked it a lot. I would recommend it to anybody. A little experimental, like in terms of the dialogue and whatever in the situations, but it's not really boring because I'd say probably every 10 minutes in the movie they're going to a new location. Like and the way the movie is like the danger amps up and up. And, he keeps meeting more and more dangerous people, trying to do more and more dangerous crimes to get the money to get his brother out and whatnot. So I highly recommend Good Time.
If you're new, you have no idea what I'm going to say. If you've listened to me for years, I think it's a no-brainer what I'm going to pick as the number one movie of 2017. A story of action, a story of betrayal, a story of family. Fast and the Furious 8, the fate of the furious,
Hey,
where Dom Toretto must turn his back on his family to save his son and the lady who knocked up, who was too rotten of a mom to name the 9-month-old child. He must save her from the evil dreadlock Charisse Theron, but his team is gonna stop him, along with Jason Statham.
Jason
This
Statham.
Fast and the Furious is my. I don't give a shit about cars. I don't know anything about cars. Fast and Furious is my favorite film series. I can watch these over and over again. 6 is currently ranked my favorite. This one is awesome. I mean, Vin Diesel takes out a tank with the Charger. I mean, the stunts somehow in between. Vin Diesel's car racing gang has become like special ops soldiers as they're driving in the snow, and The Rock is throwing torpedoes being launched at him. And Jason Statham is killing a plane full of people while keeping a
Jason
baby
Statham.
safe. Uh, it's just awesome. The opening scene where he's got to drive this beater car against this one dude, and this Vin Diesel is so awesome. He just rigs a Coke can with nitrous, and he still
Wow.
beats this guy. It's on fire. He's driving backwards. These movies keep getting more fast and more furious.
Wow. I don't think you can get a more enthusiastic recommendation. I need to make some time this weekend and watch it. I bought the 4K.
What? Wait. You haven't seen it yet.
I bought it on Black Friday, but I have not seen it yet.
How the hell am I just now hearing about this?
I haven't seen it in time.
You as a fan, you'd already have your tire with all the movies on Blu-ray in it.
I don't have a
I got the
tire.
tire and I got the individual movies too.
Yeah, they'll keep selling you those tires every time they come out with one new movie. They sell a whole new tire collection.
This year was a dashboard.
Oh, a dashboard. Eventually, you'll get the gear shift. You can put a whole
Fast,
car together.
the greatest film franchise ever. Forget Star Wars, forget the Avengers, forget The Godfather, Fast and the Furious. Name me a series that hits number 6 and starts crossing $1 billion a movie. It's never happened before because
Never.
they're that freaking good.
And I was looking at as of yesterday, when whatever day before we recorded this, I looked, and Fate of the Furious is still higher on the year-long box office charts than Star Wars. So it beat Star Wars in 2017. I mean,
Of course it did.
you can't really dispute that. You know what I mean?
Star Wars getting its butt whooped by Jumanji right
I
now.
know.
Rock,
Not
Rock's
Jumanji
laying a
too.
smackdown on them nerds.
There hasn't been a Jumanji in 20 years, and it's still kicking its butt.
I hate Star Wars fans.
I haven't even seen the new movie. What do you think about that?
What do I always say?
I got a
Once you're over the age of 12 or you've had sex, you have no business watching those movies.
I got a stormtrooper in the background here, and I still haven't seen the new movie. What do you think of that, Disney? It's little. It's way in the background.
Yeah, now I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had props in my movies.
I know you got everything. What's on the top shelf? I see little cartoon figures. What do you got?
Which shelf?
In the one that's directly behind you, the black tall shelf.
Up here?
Yeah,
Or
up there.
here?
Yeah, right there.
That's the Fairly Odd Parents, Cosmo and Wanda. There's Vampirilla. There's an original Roadblock, Lady Jane, and Deathstroke.
Wow.
Or Destro, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Deathstroke.
Over there's Michael Myers, the limited terror Billy from Wolfenstein, and a Stark Raven figure.
Interesting. I'm thinking maybe a good topic for next episode. What if we do the top 5 disappointing movies of 2017?
Hey, that works for me. That's easy. And it's not going to be no Jumanji, man.
Jumanji won't be on the
I
disappointing
love
list.
Jumanji. I love The Rock. Rock, if you're watching. You're my boy, Rock.
I think
I hope
The Rock
Nia
is watching.
Jax is watching, actually.
Nia Jax is watching.
I hope so. She's hot. I know I could take
can't
Enzo.
remember. I thought I heard a rumor. Is she somehow related to The Rock?
She's his cousin, I've heard.
Okay, interesting.
She's going after Enzo now, but I'm twice the man and twice the size.
Uh-oh. So,
and I
yeah.
make the fat girl swoon.
And by the way, whoever watched this, especially if you made it through all 40 minutes of this, thank you guys so much. We got the comments down below. We want to hear from you. And if you want to, put your top 5 down there. I'll actually go through and read them all.
Yeah,
and if you have any questions, comments, whatever, we might respond on the next episode. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Depends on how nice you are. We will, you can insult us all you want, but we will not be responding to those comments.
I got tired of reading hate mail years ago. I got to siphon through that crap on Facebook.
I don't know, hate mail. So that is it. Our time is up. Thanks, Cory, for kind of putting this all together with the Russo Network. Russo Network, thank you for having us. Movie fans and listeners and watchers, whatever you're doing. Thank you. Tell us your favorite stuff in the comments down below. I actually really would like to hear from you because we used to do podcasts and then we never get any letters.
But now, hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends. Yeah. Let's get us right underneath Kenny Bolin.
I don't know if you can even come close to being as popular as the star maker Kenny Bolin.
I don't. That's not possible. He's the man that made John Cena.
That's true. So everybody, thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time. Listening and watching, I should say. Later.